parents' garage. The average age of a company founder in this country is 40 years. Moreover, there are more people aged 55 to 64 starting businesses right now than there are people ages 20 to 34. These new entrepreneurs are seasoned professionals. They bring the benefits of their experience and their activity to the communities and institutions that nurture their talents and their careers into their own new companies. So is there bad news? Unfortunately, there is. In a new poll that we are releasing today, entrepreneurs paint a particularly grim picture of the world in which they have to work. 1/3 of entrepreneurs tell us they have had to reduce their headcount in the last year, and close to 2/3 have seen their sales volume decrease. 2/3 have seen their profitability decline as well. And in addition, and this is very worrisome, over 70% of entrepreneurs say they don't expect to add additional employees this year. I might say, relative to historic past data that we have, these trends are in fact uncharacteristically negative. Worse, with this continuing unemployment, consumers are understandably nervous about spending. And in such an environment, it won't just be more government spending that will get consumers to open their wallet, responsibly, of course. We don't want consumers overdoing it, as too many were in the pre-crisis moment when their houses were acting as their ATMs. But we want responsible spending, both here and abroad, and it won't happen until consumers are once again excited to spend, not on the things that were around before the crisis, but on novel products and services, and things that add value, things they need that they can now purchase with more facility, that are easier and better than they used to be, and more inexpensive. Once these things are developed and widely commercialized, a virtuous cycle can begin again. As consumers spend more, businesses have reason to invest and hire. And the more hiring that occurs, the higher the incomes and spending will be and will support more consumer demand. And then we will have the recovery we all want and are waiting for. But to get this virtuous ball rolling again, guess who? It's entrepreneurs who will be responsible for most of the breakthrough products that have changed our lives in the past and made it better, and will again in the future. We need these entrepreneurs today more than ever. We need their breakthroughs in energy generation. Only they will develop and commercialize the successor to petroleum. We need breakthroughs in healthcare and in medicine, and only entrepreneurs will bend the cost curve backward, at the same time extending life expectancy. And it's only entrepreneurs who will continue to provide services that we need and want, such as Rosetta Stone, or Zappos, or Mint.com. Today, we could wait for history to repeat itself, to generate the future of 500, as entrepreneurs have done in the previous downturns. But with another 85,000 jobs lost just last month, I, for one, would be much more comfortable if we had some policies to help history along, to make the good history happen faster. And here, then, are some ideas that go in that direction. Our first suggestion from Kaufman is to let's rationalize our immigration policy. Over the last decade and a half, fully 1/4 of all the technology companies in the United States have been started by immigrants. Factor in first-generation Americans, the children of immigrants, and the percentage rises is remarkable. Reggie Alberwald, the founder and CEO of Steven, has created some 500 jobs in the Washington area. And Reggie is here today and will share his perspectives on our panel in just a minute. Our immigration policy needs to be friendlier to people like Reggie and to his parents. We could start by offering instant citizenship to any of the thousands of bright young people from foreign countries who graduate from our American universities. We also should change the provisions of the EB-5 visa, the so-called entrepreneur's visa, as we rebaptize it. And rather than requiring people who want to invest in American companies bring $1 million to start their firm or buy a firm in the United States, we should favor those who plan to come and start a firm in the United States and extend their visas once they begin hiring people here in the United States. Countries such as Singapore already allow new immigrants who bring us far less, $50,000. And maybe we should make that our target, or have a $0 target if they come to start companies and hire them. The United States simply cannot afford to lose the emerging global race for entrepreneurial talent. And we have the enormous advantage of being the focus place to this day where entrepreneurs want to come, live, start their firms, and hire their new neighbors and fellow citizens. Another high-impact, low-cost reform would be make some of the most important changes to the onerous provisions of Sarbanes-Oxley. SOX was enacted, after all, to protect shareholders. So why not allow shareholders to vote on whether their companies will fulfill certain SOX requirements? This would permit companies whose shareholders don't feel the benefits. Newer companies have access to capital markets that would in fact prove much less costly to jump through the government regulations. Our third idea would be cheap, but would be hugely effective. Let's exempt firms less than 5 years old, the ones that historically have been responsible for virtually all new net job creation, from payroll taxes. Doing this on a temporary basis, say for 2 years, would strengthen the incentive to hire while limiting the impact on the deficit. And in this spirit, we might also consider measures that encourage local banks to steer more money into brand new companies. This would be the single most powerful statement from our government to entrepreneurs and those who are thinking about starting companies, that America and its government was indeed friendly to the idea and actually respected the importance of our entrepreneurs to economic recovery. The final three ideas all concern education. Let's start from the top with the faculty in our universities. It's time to implement a model of choice for academic entrepreneurs. Currently, professors can choose where to publish the results of their federally funded research, but they can't choose what might even be a more important goal for our economy. That is, who is their appropriate partner to help them license and commercialize the ideas and technology that they have invented or discovered. Professors are now required to follow one path, the one defined by their own university. Let's instead find multiple avenues to commercialize our federally funded research and use the right people and the most efficient people to get ideas out of universities and into commerce. Later today, in a few minutes, we'll have Frank Douglas, one of our senior fellows at the Kaufman Foundation, a partner emeritus at PureTech Ventures, and now the new head of bioinnovation in Akron, Ohio, to talk to us about just this idea. He, being an MD PhD, has seen the kludgy approach of getting ideas from the laboratory and into the factory. It is a critical issue. Our universities are also teaming with very smart graduate and postgraduate students in the hard sciences, engineering, and other fields. A great many of them also have ideas that can be commercialized, but no idea how to go ahead. The postdoctoral fellowship, to enable students to continue their research, perhaps as a route to an academic career, has become part of the American landscape. We have 47,000 postdoctoral fellows in the United States, highly educated and potentially underutilized talent, particularly in the commercial world. It's time for the federal government to pay for commercialization fellowships, along with special training and mentoring to allow the right ones to become scientific founders. Our new initiative, Kaufman Laboratories for Enterprise Creation, is pioneering this work, and happily we've just appointed 13 brand new Kaufman fellows, postgraduate fellows, to start up new companies. Finally, we have to make much better efforts to capture the imagination of the young.